Well, it's bound to happen. You're just out in the woods having a good time, you know, riding your motorcycle. All of a sudden, the dreaded words are spoken. Don't run over the pokey stuff. The next thing you know, this is the sound you hear. Dadgummit all. But wait, there's more. You keep on riding. You got to get home tonight. You're pressed for time. Suddenly, from the back tire though, you start to hear, well, shoot, now what am I going to do? You got two flat tires. You might have a tubeless tire. Maybe you think you're just going to put some slime in it, fix it flat, whatever. Keep on going. Turns out though, you've got a dent in your rim. Now you got to put a tube tire in if you want to get home, if you happen to have one. Or maybe you're just a tube tire to begin with, and either way, you got to fix two flat tires, and that just sucks. So the question is, what do you have in your kit to fix two flat tires? And specifically, what do you have in your KLR kit? Because it's a little tricky. That's what we're talking about today. So the first thing you want to change your tires, of course, is going to be a tire spoon. I've talked about this one before, Revzilla, I believe, Rocky Mountain, wherever you shop, but these aluminum tire spoons are important because it's, in the case of the KLR, you've got a 27 millimeter socket on the back. That would fit on there if the cotter pin wasn't still on. So, you know, pull off that bolt, axle slides out, change your tire. And no, I'm not changing the tire in this video. There's a lot of videos out there about changing tires. So yeah, you're gonna want a tire spoon. But wait, there's more. You're actually gonna want more tire spoons. And so, I just got this today, by the way, but at my local auto parts store, there's a 5-pack of tire spoons, like 20 bucks. They have a 3-pack as well, but they didn't have it in stock. But anyways, the point is most guys will tell you, as I'm pulling stuff out of the bag, but you're gonna want to have at least, you know, minimum of 2 tire spoons, but you're ideally gonna want 3 tire spoons. Why? Because if you're trying to pry something on there, it's a lot easier if you've got multiple points of leverage. But yes, 2 is a minimum, 3 is preferred, so have at least 3 tire spoons. But wait, there's more. I mean, you're also going to want something, this is optional, but you might want a bead guard, protects your rims. You don't have to have it though if you don't care about your rims. An actual toolkit, that's a good idea. You probably bought a pannier kit bag, that's fine. That's a grab bag or whatever they gave you. Might not be bike specific. I've got my own stuff in there I've collected over the years. And recommended, make sure you got a gallon of car soap. Okay, you could actually have dishwashing soap, car washing soap, whatever you want to travel with. You can spit on it if that helps. I actually recommend getting a much smaller container to put it in. This is not actually car soap, but the point is you want a container about that big to put it in. You don't need to have a gallon of car soap, but you get the idea. That's the kind of stuff that you should have in your kit. You know, and most importantly, you know, it's kind of hard to change a tube if you don't have a tube, so you should have at least a tube. Want to have 2, front and rear. And you know, just for what it's worth in an emergency, you know, you can actually use the front tube on the front and rear. It's not exactly a perfect fit, but if you're just trying to get home again, you know, it's got a 21-inch wheel on it, so it does fit on the smaller 18-inch wheel. Vice versa though, you can't put a rear tube on the front. It doesn't work that way. Now if you're lucky, you're out in the woods, some lumberjacks has been by recently and left you some nice log rounds you can use as a jack. Other options might be just to drop the bike on the ground if you don't mind fuel spilling out. Eagle Mike sells a trail jack, I believe, I forget the name of it, but you know, all good options. Somehow you're going to want to get the wheel off the ground, and those are your options to do it with. It's a selective forest. I got a smaller log. As long as your wheel spins though, you'll get it back on. Okay, so like I said before, you know, rear tire is pretty easy. You just need a 27 millimeter right on there. Take that bolt off. Make sure you got a tube to put in there. Good to go, easy peasy. That's all you really need. Front tire, however, that's a different story. We're gonna use the factory toolkit for this because it's kind of interesting what happens here. And so the issue with the front is you got this big old hex bolt right there, and you're probably not going to have what you need to do it. Now granted, if you had the factory toolkit, I did just learn this as I'm filming this video right now, but they do actually give you what you need for this. It's just questionable if it's even what you should be using. If you go through all these little parts, you know, these things are all too big. This is a 14 millimeter hex. I don't actually know what this is. This seems like I'm improvising here. But if you take this end here, it's a little loose, but it would probably work at least once before you strip your tool out and it doesn't work ever again. But in a jiffy, you could probably make that work. That's not what I'm recommending though. Go down to your local parts store, find a 14 millimeter hex. I got this one out of a multi-pack for 13 bucks or whatever it is. It's a very big hex bolt, you know. Now the issue with this idea is, of course, that means you got to have a 1/2 inch driver to go with it, but that's only if you buy this exact model. I don't know what you'll come up with. This is what I got. But yes, 14 millimeter hexes are not very common, so you'll be surprised. Don't expect to find someone in the middle of nowhere with this laying around the back of their truck. That's my point. So if you have a KLR, get a 14 millimeter hex to change your front tire with. And so one more time, what do you need to change your front tire? 14 millimeter hex goes right in there. Take that bolt out. Reach in your little toolkit that you should have. Should be a 6 millimeter Allen key. That's going to be for these push bolts right here. Take those out, and then you can slide your axle out. No big deal. Don't forget the tube. This is all pointless if you don't have one. But wait, there's more. You're not doing anything with these tires if you don't have a way to put air back in them. So what are some ways you can do that? First, you can use these little air cartridges. Comes with a little nozzle like this that works for both Schrader valves and standard valves. This little rubber thing's important because once you discharge these, they're basically going to freeze. So you don't want your hand frozen to them. It's a good emergency option. You might also just want a standard little bike pump. Same thing, I use this for mountain biking. It's got a Schrader valve nozzle on it. I can't remember if it was changeable, but that's why I don't use this. But that's a good option if you like a workout. And then, of course, on RevZilla, not sponsored, I just happened to get this motor presser one. I think it was like, I don't know, 50 bucks or something. Anyways, this works great because on the KLR, and I think this is stock on most motorcycles, but you've got this little quick connect to your battery right here. Let me just show you how that works. And, you know, it's pretty simple. You just plug it in like this. Anyways, it just connects, something like that. No modification needed. Your tire fills up in probably, I don't know, we'll say 5 minutes. And don't forget the tire gauge. Okay, so in summary, what do we need to change our front and rear tires? You're going to want a front and rear tube. You're going to want a 27 millimeter wrench. You're going to want at least 2 tire spoons. 3 is preferred. You're going to want some car wash soap, probably dishwash soap, spit, whatever you use. You're going to want a 14 millimeter hex. That's the hard one to find. Optional rim protection, and you're going to want a way to put air back in it all. So I prefer the air compressor, of course. This factory toolkit will probably let you down, I guarantee it. And then you're going to want the 6 millimeter hex key in your toolkit, which is no big deal. That's all you need. Oh, and then don't forget the stump. You're going to want a stump to put on your bike, of course. It's kind of pokey. See all these tire killing branch nubs? Yeah, I'll just get this guy out of the road before I regret it if I don't already have a flat tire. I don't know. Okay. Good grief.